So hello everybody, this is Kiara, May 4th, 2020. So welcome wherever you are in this world as we connect together to create a potential for planetary transformation. There's a prophecy I'd like to refer to today. How many of you are familiar with a man named Peter Dunov? He was Bulgarian, he was a mystic. He founded a practice known as paneurythmy, and it's not so well known today, but he was truly known as a master in his time, very similar to people like Rudolf Steiner. So I'd like to refer to this prophecy, his last prophecy, and this was made about just a couple months before he died in 1944. So what he says: during the passage of time, the consciousness of man traversed a very long period of obscurity. This phase, which the Hindus call Kali Yuga, is on the verge of ending, and by now it has already ended, and we are now in the next yuga, which is the Dwapara Yuga. We find ourselves today at the frontier between two epochs, that of Kali Yuga and that of the new era that we are entering. A gradual improvement is already occurring in the thoughts, sentiments, and acts of humans, but everybody will soon be subjugated to divine fire that will purify and prepare them in regards to the new era. Thus, man will raise himself to a superior degree of consciousness, indispensable to his entrance to the new life. This is what one understands by ascension. So this is, remember, in 1944, when he's talking about this, the purification, the divine fire. And so he says, some decades will pass before this fire will come that will transform the world by bringing it a new moral. This immense wave comes from cosmic space and will inundate the entire earth. All those that attempt to oppose it will be carried off and transferred elsewhere. Although the inhabitants of this planet do not all find themselves at the same degree of evolution, the new wave will be felt by each one of us. And this transformation will not only touch the earth, but the ensemble of the entire cosmos. So there's more to it, and maybe we can get to that some other time. But I want to address what we have so far. When he speaks about this divine fire, electricity from the cosmos, he refers to cosmic rays, cosmic waves. And from what I've been studying about astrophysics and geology, geophysics, there is such a thing as cosmic rays that are now moving into the earth in a very accelerated fashion. So what we have now is an intensification of these cosmic rays. Hold on just a sec. So what are the what are the reasons for this intensification? It's actually a physical vibrational frequency. So when we look at the spectrum of electromagnetic light, we are talking about everything from sound to visible light to octaves below and above this visible rainbow. We're talking about X-rays, radio waves, we're talking about gamma rays and cosmic rays. So cosmic rays are the highest vibrational frequency, And they typically move through our planet, through the atmosphere of our planet, in waves. But right now, because we're going through a time where the solar output is decreasing, the solar radiation actually keeps away much of this cosmic radiation from entering the atmosphere of the Earth. It's like, it's a wave of intense radiation that keeps it at bay, and even prevents much of the galactic cosmic rays from entering our solar system. But the solar output is decreasing now. And at this particular time, we're crossing over from solar cycle 24 to solar cycle 25. This has to do with sunspot activity. And in the process, what's happening is that with the reduction of the solar wind, we have an increase of cosmic radiation. So this is galactic radiation as well as solar radiation that's now entering into the atmosphere of the Earth. Cosmic rays are refined enough that they're capable of penetrating through the Earth. So it's not just the surface of the Earth. Likewise, they're capable of penetrating through our bodies, our physical structures, our nervous systems, every organ, every skeletal, muscular structure, and it affects our consciousness much more than we realize. Just like electromagnetic waves around us. Radio waves affect us, microwaves affect us, the Wi-Fi frequencies affect us. That's why we make such a big deal of each time we have an intensification of these Wi-Fi signals. Now we're going into 60 gigahertz of 5G, which is incredibly destructive to our biosphere and our physical bodies. But that's one side of it. The other side of it is these cosmic rays that are entering much, much higher frequency than the millimeter wave or the microwave radiation from Wi-Fi technology. So what this vibrational frequency is capable of is to affect us on an essential level of our capacity to hold the frequency of light. What Peter Donov is saying, that this intensity is coming and nobody can escape. He talks about a few decades from now, which is the time that he died, 1944. So this is 60 years since then. No, 80 years since then. He says, we're all going to experience this. Those of us who are able to receive this and ride this wave will be positively transformed. Those of us who can't will be transferred elsewhere. So it seems very similar to what many of us have been experiencing lately with the intensification of spiritual energies, Kundalini activations. Either we are able to ride this wave and move into a new state of awareness, or we are experiencing more breakdowns physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So either we break down or we break through. So this is something that I find really interesting, to find someone talking about this 80 years ago. And then when I learn about the Inca tradition and the electrical Sami and the magnetic Sami, it's all related. The universe is an electromagnetic field. And to the extent that we can maintain the physical body to be able to hold a certain frequency of this electromagnetic light, to that extent we can actually transform the body, transform the etheric structures, transform the the emotional and mental structures and reconnect with the causal aspects of who we are, ultimately to the self. So when we talk about working with these Inca practices, we're also now talking about being able to integrate these collective energies, the cosmic rays, the galactic cosmic rays, the solar cosmic rays. These are actually evolutionary. So in times past, every time this intensification of cosmic light comes through, there are mutations that take place on the earth. Entire species go extinct, new species emerge, and we're going through that same process now, not just within, not just on a planetary level, but also within individual species. So our human species is being prepared now to go through a massive evolutionary upswing. And we have the choice. Are we ready to receive this light, or are we resisting it? So that's also what we can work with, our intention that we can hold when we work with the Inca practice now. So as the Sami comes in, we are able to receive more of this cosmic light. As we release Hucha, we are releasing resistance and fear that keeps us from holding and integrating this new frequency. Ultimately, there is a time that the power of this cosmic light is so strong that we cannot sit on the fence anymore. Either we ride the wave or we dissolve these physical bodies. And the same goes for all of our external structures, whether it's political or economic or financial or whatever it may be. So anything that supports the evolution remains. Anything that resists the evolution dissipates. So we've come to that turning point now. And we see this with the events of what's been happening in the last few months. All right. So let's see, are there any questions people have as we swing into this? Okay. So let's do the practice now. So again, becoming aware of the bubble of light surrounding the physical body, extending 2 meters out or 6 feet in all directions. If you happen to be laying down, it's still a luminous egg, but this time end on its end. Directly over the top of this window, of this bubble, there's a window. And this is the window opening up to the upper world. So if you're laying down, this would be, again, directly above you vertically towards the ceiling. And you open this window as wide as you can. Allowing yourself to receive the full intensity of this cosmic light. So we're talking about a cosmic light that also has a electromagnetic signature, a very, very high frequency of light, which has a tremendous impact on all the systems and all the functions of the physical body, and also the connection between the physical body and the subtle bodies. So we receive this light, and as we receive this light, it starts to bring to the surface and clear out any resistance, any fear, any density, any heaviness, releasing it down into the earth, where Mother Earth can receive it and transform it. And then, in response to this electrical downpour of light, there's a magnetic frequency that starts to pour up from the earth, up through the feet, through the physical body, through the entire bubble of light. If you're laying down, you can imagine it coming up through the entire back, and then up through the window to the sky. So it's a fountain of light pouring up to meet the waterfall of light pouring down. So both these flows are happening simultaneously. The magnetic energies are warm, nurturing, very loving and supportive. They carry a great deal of healing energy. So wherever there's been clearing in the physical body or the subtle bodies, these magnetic forces go up, fill those spaces to create a balance, to create a healing, to create an integration. And then as these two forces continue to move back and forth, you find yourself expanding out. The entire bubble expands further and further out into the space around you. And with each breath, you find yourself expanding further and further and further. The wider you open that window, the faster and further you expand. So all you're doing is keeping that window open, which allows the descent of electrical light, followed by the ascent of magnetic light. So you don't need to visualize or effort. It's an allowing. It's a very receptive practice. There's an intelligence within these streams of light that work with the cellular body. They know what to do. They work with levels of the mind beyond the rational mind and below the rational mind. So these cosmic rays that are entering into the earth now from galactic source, they carry information. So the cosmic rays themselves are carrier waves, and they carry packets of information that have to do with new evolutionary possibilities, both for ourselves individually as humans, for us collectively as a species, and for the planet herself. And so we see ourselves receiving this information from levels of the mind far beyond the rational, integrating it deep into our cellular mind, right into the DNA. Our DNA is directly linked with Gaia's biological destiny. So what we're doing is simply planting the seeds of this galactic information into the heart of the earth. Every 12,000 years there's a new galactic wave that comes through. And it's not just our solar system, it's not just our galaxy. It's a ripple effect across multiple galaxies, across the fabric of time and space. So with the entry of these cosmic rays, the fabric of space and time is opened up in a way that we can receive new evolutionary possibilities during this time. It's like a window of opportunity which remains open for a short time and then closes. So last time we talked about the connection between the low self, the middle self, and the high self. So we bring these aspects of ourself into unity, connecting to the front of the heart, the back of the heart, and the pineal. And as we make that connection, we simply open ourselves to this cosmic light, this fire from heaven. This electrical flame that Peter Dunov was mentioning back in 1944. So remain in the stillness as long as you wish. And I'll remind you that starting next Saturday, we're doing a 5-day intensive. So it'll be Saturday, Sunday, followed by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in the following week. So 9th and 10th, 13th to 15th of May. And you could contact Jamie Franken, JAMY FRENCKEN @hotmail.com. And we'll be continuing our tri-weekly series as long as anyone is interested. So notice what you experience with this galactic cosmic light as it moves through. And if you'd like to share experiences, please do so. My sense is that many of us are spontaneously having these experiences now. In our dreams, in our meditations, in our waking life, sometimes very spontaneously and unexpectedly. We're open to new capacities, new information, new abilities. We're growing into that divine human, Homo luminous, as a species. We're rising into Gaia luminous as a planetary consciousness. Beautiful, wondrous time to be alive now. So blessings, one and all. Much love.